Hello, everybody. How's everyone today? Right, bit of an earlier podcast today because obviously I have judo today. So, an earlier podcast, and we are also going to be racing through things. I literally only have an hour. So, if I go like past 6, you will have to type and get your ass out of the house in the chat box so I know that I've gone over time. But on to business. What a lovely day today has been. Wow, we have been fed, moisturized, hydrated, served waffles and eggs from Archie's Chicken Inn. What incredible pictures of Meghan's variety cover. And this cover was obviously postponed because of Lizzie's passing and the interview as well. The interview has actually been updated a little bit. And we're going to read through the interview and dissect it in the second half of the podcast. The first half, I just want to get through the other news of the day, and then we will get into the variety cover. But wow, what do you all think of it? What do you all think of it? Let me know in the comments. I mean, we are not stopping. We are rocking and rolling, right? Sussex, October. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the chat. And sorry, I pushed back the podcast so much because the pictures were coming through video. I haven't even managed to get the video that I wanted to play because there's video for this as well. But if you go to the Variety channel, it's obviously the most recent video that's been uploaded. I will also post it on the community tab as well. But just go and comment in the comment section, please, because you know that the haters and the trolls, there's over 11,000 people subscribed to this channel. So if only like 1,000 of you go and comment on the video, then we should be able to drown out the haters. So yeah, we'll get to that in the second half of the podcast. Let's get through some other things first. Right. Yesterday, this picture came out of Meghan at the Archetypes, a woman with Spotify event. This was an in-company event, and the president of Archewell, Mandana Adiyani, who is Iranian, posted this on her story. She said, at an event today, Meghan spoke about the revolution being led by women and young girls in Iran, the courage and bravery they show every day, and their leadership and advocacy of basic human rights, women, life, freedom. As an Iranian woman who fled her home country in pursuit of these very freedoms, I could not have been more grateful for how she chooses again and again to advocate for women around the world. Proud day at Archewell, and especially for me and Ashley Mom Taheni. I don't know who Ashley is. I think she might be another Archewell hire. But how amazing! And it just shows the diversity and interesting people that Meghan hires for her company. And there she is wearing a t-shirt with Farsi language. And first of all, doesn't everyone who works for Archewell just look so fresh? So fresh and youthful and happy and boss babish. These are people that don't mind 5 a.m. emails. And they are still joyful and glowing and hydrated and moisturized. Lovely to see Meghan with her team. And yeah, Mandana has been with her pretty much from the beginning of the formation of Archewell. She was one of the first hires. And Mandana's got her own things going on as well. She has another project called I Am a Voter, where they encourage people to go out and register to vote. And so they have their own page, their own social media. So go and for those of you, I know many of you are in this chat very passionate about politics and voting. So go support her, please. Let's support other people who are affiliated with Meghan as well, and Archewell in the other products that they do. So good for Mandana, and much thanks to her for posting this. she also posted on, where is it? Oh yes, she also posted on Instagram as well. Yeah, she posted that message again on Instagram, and also, sorry, on Twitter, sorry, and then on Instagram in the caption she posted "Women, Life, Freedom," which I believe is what Meghan had on her t-shirt. Allies have shown up in so many forms over the past month since the death of um, Masa Amini. I am so grateful to work with incredible women like Meghan and my fellow Iranian colleague and friend. Oh, Ashley. Okay, so that's Ashley's Iranian as well. Okay, as we continue to highlight the bravery and courage of the women and young girls on the front line of one of the most important feminist movements of our lives. Incredible, incredible. And um, if Meghan was still within the royal fold, she wouldn't be able to make statements like this. All right, I'll go to your comments before we continue. Mm. Alma Andrews, I'm so grateful for Meghan to be acknowledged again. Meghan's reach goes higher than many images. The weird ones in the unroyal family couldn't even fathom her. Yes, I mean the photos are just so full of life. They're glowing. They're creative. We don't look like ghosts in a haunted castle. Corinne, this people really want to work without complaining and money. Yeah. Um, Legs, I don't know about anyone else, but I'm loving the day. Yes, I am. I'm loving the day too. We're all loving the day. Meghan is the moment. Are the Chambridges on vacation again? Yeah, where are they? Not that I was looking for them, but now that you mentioned it, Legs, it's like they just seem to have dropped off the face of the earth. Is it the children's, wait, is it half term? I don't know. Maybe it's half term. I guess that I don't really care about them. Yay, Meghan. Yes. They seem to just disappear randomly every now and again, but I don't know. I'm assuming maybe it's half term. Maybe that's why. I don't know. All right. So that's that. Sailing on to the next thing. So apparently, 2 in 3 Quebecers, so this is Quebec, the state in Canada, believe the monarchy is outdated and that Canada should sever ties. Oh, I can't imagine why. I can't imagine why they are fed up of the monarchy. And the uh, anti-crown propaganda is all over the place. In Yahoo, they had a article where it was Charles and Camilla's relationship timeline, and as Joe said, they skipped all the cheating and the breakup of 2 families. We will not let them rewrite history. The head of the church and his wife are adulterers. Royal family values, exactly. They're trying so hard to rewrite history. Will not allow them to do it. And they can scream and yell about the crown all they want, but from what I understand, from what I've heard, the famous tampon tapes will feature in the crown. Right, on to the next thing. Oh yes, could this be the reason 2 out of 3 Quebecians don't want Charles as the monarch? Just recently we had Lord Mountbatten. Allegations about him have resurfaced, child abuse allegations, and those allegations are going to be heard for the first time in a Belfast court. I actually read the statement from the accuser in a previous podcast, and this type of behavior seems to run in the family. We also had the Queen's cousin, Simon Bowes-Lyon, leaves prison 5 months into assault sentence. Right, so he got out early. Uh, Bowes-Lyon, that is quite a famous name. I don't know. Does anybody know in the comment section um what that family is known for? Because I know that they are a bit of a dynasty, but I just don't know what it is that they own or. But yeah, anyway, that's some of the men in that family doing what they do best. Um, yes. Next, you had Charles and Camilla out. Like, I don't even want to say it, right? Because you know exactly what I'm going to say. Just look at the pictures. Pretty much since the Oprah interview, and more than we'd ever seen it before. All I can say at this point is if Black Brits want to continue to allow themselves to be used as props, I mean, that's on them. And shame on the parents for also allowing their children to be used like this. Because, you know, I could excuse this maybe pre-Meghan because the racism, the attacks were not as overt as they are now. So to a certain degree, I could excuse this pre-Meghan because in general, the image of or the modern rebranded image of the royals was still relatively positive. But given everything that's happened since Meghan's come in, the way in which this institution has treated her, continues to treat her and her family, the way in which the British press continue to attack, for me, I just think that if you agree to meet with the other on royals at this point, I think you're just shaming yourself, especially if you're a person of color. And this, you know, literally hot off the heels of Charles's great uncle being accused of assault. And yes, Anne is heading to Uganda. For what I don't know. I'm tired of these people, but I'm also tired of the way in which the community continue to welcome them in and get absolutely nothing back other than being used for PR. There's nothing that these people do that is impactful. It's about impacting them and their image and rewriting their image and taking away accountability from them because they're not going into these spaces into these spaces with people of color, with black people, to have any serious or difficult conversations about race, um, about colonization, about anything, about the I think about the important things that we need to talk about, the difficult conversations, as Harry said himself, for us to be able to move forward as equals. They don't want to be equals. So I'm just tired of this, and but at the end of the day, if Black Brits and African leaders are going to continue to talk to these people without holding them accountable, what can we do? All I'm saying is that you would not see me in a picture like this. All right, let me go to your comments before we continue. Joyce, when you look at Meghan, you don't see a plastic person. She is so open. Love it. Yes. Oh, Tonya trying for baby number 4. Oh, another a burden to the taxpayer. Benjamin, already the detractors are coming out the woodwork. It's unfortunate. Not a word on Meghan's kind words for the Queen. Only on her speaking of a game show agenda. Yes, the agenda is strong, and I'll get into that in a moment. Yeah, the inbreeding in that family. It needs to be studied. The Queen Mother Elizabeth Bow Lyons. But I think there's like a business or something that they own. Hi, Susie Q, listening at work. Jessica, another deviant in the family. Yes. In the family, on the staff. There was also a mysterious butler. I think it was back in 2008, and they uncovered that his um what was it? Yeah, like he was a P. He was a P. And if you actually try to look up that story, there's maybe only 1 or 2 articles about it, and there's not really a lot of information that you can find on that. But there was a butler who worked in the palace some time ago, and it was uncovered that he was a P. So it's like it's their friends, it's their family, it's the people that work around them. Alright, welcome everyone if you're just coming through. Legs, I just don't get all of this from some people of colour in Britain. I guess after the Voice debacle, there is nobody that actually would stand up against this performative art props. The Voice debacle? What was the Voice debacle? I don't really watch TV, so I don't know what that was about. Yes, Mrs. S. Empty noise as usual. The Sussexes keep thriving while the haters get more wrinkles. Thank you, Legs. Thank you for reminding everyone. Don't forget to like. Okay, next thing I wanted to focus on. Yes, in Britain continues to lose its mind news. They're now talking about possibly bringing back Boris Johnson. Now, around the time that Boris got booted out, this is something that came up. And if they're banging the drums about this again, it seems like they're actually serious. They're actually serious about bringing him back. This is a piece of artwork by our favorite, Cold War Steve, the Brexit Express. You got Bojo, Theresa, David Cameron, and Liz Truss getting ready to get on the train. If Boris Johnson came back, oi, I don't know. I'm gonna just keep my mouth shut and get on that plane in January because this is even the mere suggestion of this is just ridiculous. Benjamin, you would be surprised how many of the Europe royals look down on English royals. I don't understand it or pick up. Um, don't come from that world. Well, I think they're all a bit loopy lala, if you ask me. Um, some of them have modernized a little bit more than others, but I believe that um, you know, I'm sure that the others do have some skeletons in their closet. It's just that the world isn't as interested in them as they are in the British Royals, and you know, with the British Royals, that there's always been the after effects of Diana, and then everybody wanting to see William get married, and then everybody wanting to see Harry get married. So they've enjoyed a certain level of popularity that the others haven't, and with that has come scrutiny in the eyes of the world, while the others just tend to get ignored, right? So I'm sure the others have skeletons in their closet as well. So um, I don't know. Yeah, and I'm sure they also do look down on the English royals, but it's not. I don't think it's that they don't have their own skeletons. Thank you so much, Adams, for the super sticker. Thank you so much indeed. Oh, The Voice, the Black British paper. Oh yes, I'm so sorry. When you said The Voice, I thought you meant the TV show The Voice. Sorry, I didn't pick up on that straight away. I know what you mean now. Thank you. Um, Ronna Williams, when's the next general election? We haven't had one for so long. I actually don't know. I don't even know the answer to that question. How sad is that? Mrs. S, thank you so much for the super sticker. Much appreciated. Okay, on to the next. Oh yes, and this might be happening. Now there has been talk on and off about possible blackouts or grid downs. Um, Allegedly, the BBC has prepared secret scripts with UK government for possible winter blackouts that could last 2 days. The public would be advised to use car radios or battery-powered receivers to listen to emergency broadcasts. One draft BBC script warns that blackout could last for up to 2 days, with hospitals and police placed under extreme pressure. So basically, the script to V for Vendetta is gonna play is gonna play out in the UK. You know what? As long as it happens after I leave this island. I mean, you're even seeing things like this. So when there are a high level of thefts in an area or on certain items, they start putting the items in these cases, and these are actually real pictures. You got cases on chocolate, on you got the tags on butter, and that tells you something. It's like people are already getting desperate, and it's not even that bad. So this should be the focus, but it's not. Instead, the focus on the news was this. This is the cover of the Daily Mail today. Millions facing pain on pensions, and of course they put a picture of Meghan from Deal or No Deal. And as HRH the Duke said, they are focusing on Meghan speaking about Deal or No Deal because they want to cover the part. So because they don't want to cover the part where she spoke about working at the US Embassy in Argentina. Yes, they definitely don't want to talk about that side of Meghan. And doesn't that not just reinforce what Meghan was saying in the Archetypes podcast? And as usual, they have completely twisted their words, sorry, her words, made it sound like she was complaining, as if there isn't a whole transcript relaying exactly what it was that she said. Oh, I think my sound has gone a bit funny. Give it a sec. All right. But yeah, you have the usuals who are jumping on this trying to get clapped. So, an individual whose existence I didn't know about 5 minutes ago, called Claudia Jordan, posted this. So, Claudia was on Deal or No Deal around the time that Meghan was on. And there's actually a TMZ video of her saying that Meghan was sweet and quiet. And she went on, or she seemed to have a completely different tune on social media, desperate for that clout and clicks, tweeting, sorry, so somebody had tweeted, did you listen to the entire Archetypes podcast with Paris Hilton, or did you just respond to the tabloid headlines? And she responded to that saying, no, I was busy the past 4 days working on another film that no one's going to watch. So yes, I only had the luxury of responding to the tabloid headline. So admitting that you read the headline and not the story, and that you didn't fully listen to the podcast, admitting that you would rather listen to lies than what Meghan actually said. And then she goes on to say, still wasn't an attack, no matter how some would choose to interpret it. We can all speak our experiences on the show, no harm in that. But you weren't just speaking your experiences, Claudia. You were being dismissive of what Meghan said without having actually listened to the podcast and just reading a headline. And then I responded to that by saying, you missed the entire point of the podcast and chose to purposely paint a different narrative about Meghan, you vile woman. I'm actually going to read what she put on her Instagram stories. If you lack such comprehension that you couldn't understand the complexity and nuance of what Meghan said, you should have sat down and eaten your food. So this is what so she followed up on Instagram by saying, no, on Twitter, sorry, we'll stick to Twitter first. On Twitter by saying, let's be clear, I wasn't coming for that woman, refers to her as that woman, not even her name, or trashing her or even invalidating her feelings. Can't two people make comments about the same workplace and not be on the same page, but also not be deemed a catfight or an attack? Jesus, reaching. No, it's not reaching, Claudia, because you completely twisted what it was that Meghan said. And on today's British chit chat shows, guess who it was whose words they were using? They were using Claudia's words, because Claudia is a woman of color. I don't know if she's. I mean, she looks black. And so it was her words that they were using on the morning talk shows to basically dismiss what Meghan had said. And as Lost in a Hostile Environment said, you are now front page tabloid news in the UK, and your comments will be discussed in every morning TV and radio shows as a way to validate the hate and narrative they direct towards Meghan. I'd like to believe you didn't know, but part of me thinks you knew what you were doing. She absolutely knew what she was doing. She absolutely knew what she was doing. They all know what they're doing. Um, so this is what she posted on her Instagram. She said, "This isn't an attack on Meghan because Lord knows I've been defending this woman in the media for years. And I will, and I still will, but I just didn't want any misunderstanding about Deal or No Deal and the environment on Deal or No Deal set. And I am especially protective of Howie Mandel, who was nothing but kind and respectful to all 26 of us." She didn't even, did she even mention Howie Mandel? Howie Mandel is the guy, right? Um, yeah, I don't think she even mentioned him. Anyway, she goes on to say, way too many people can't read or comprehend basic English. Way too many people don't listen to things and read tabloid headlines, Claudia. I didn't invalidate Meghan's feelings. I just clearly stated mine. Her feelings are her feelings, but I wanted to make it clear that, in my opinion, it wasn't the environment there that brought about that relax. And what did Meghan actually say about the show and the women on that show? I was grateful for the job, but not about how it made me feel, which was not smart. By the way, I was surrounded by smart women, but that wasn't the focus. So if Claudia had actually listened to the podcast, she would have heard that. And here's the thing that women like Claudia don't seem to get, because they only see their success in relation to the amount that the men around them are going to give them. So they refuse to ever hold the men around them accountable. And I say that because look at this picture right here, right? You have all these women in dresses, and you have the host who she was being so protective of, in a full suit. So you can see that this show is completely catered to the male gaze. And we should be able to criticize this and say, um, you know, why is it that um women have to be put into this box and feel that they have to take these roles to, to have a job or to be successful? Why can't we hold the executives and the people that make these decisions to a higher standard? And surely we can reflect, even if we were in those Deal or No Deal shoes and dresses, surely we can reflect later on and say, "Do you know what? Let's do better." Surely we can do that. And a lot of people have been saying, "Oh, well, why did Meghan take the job?" Well, who holds the purse strings to these jobs? Who makes these decisions? It's industry and media men. And look at what you get when it's only them in the room making decisions. And so this is why women like Claudia are more than happy to, sorry, they will go after another woman trying to have a conversation the way Meghan is trying to have this conversation, before they go after those who actually run and control these systems. It's like when people will um like for example, like during the Me Too movement, right? Instead of questioning why it is that you have men like Harvey Weinstein who are given so much authority, you had people blaming the actresses and, "Oh, well, she slept with him anyway," that kind of attitude. And so there's nothing wrong with um bringing those who make the decisions to task and saying, we should do better than this. And there have been many institutions that have done better. I think Formula One, I think they actually got rid of the Formula One girls, if I'm not mistaken, because they wanted to come into the modern age. I think they actually got rid of the scantily clad Formula One girls. So, nothing that Meghan is actually saying is, sorry, aren't conversations that we've been having about um women before, but I think she's bringing it to the forefront in a way that's, I think, making people talk about it on a wider scale. And yes, it's clearly making some people uncomfortable, especially women like Claudia, who I think only see her success in relation to how much the men around her can give her, and she's not even willing to question it in the way that a woman like Meghan, who knows herself and knows her strength, is willing to. So, sorry, that was a very, very long rant, but I hope I got my point across. We'll go to your comments before I continue. Um, oh, did something happen? Okay, so I can't. Um, I think it was Lynn. Sorry, Lynn. I can't find the comment where you commented about what happened, but I'm very sorry. Um, yes, Jessica, blackouts. This is something that they've been talking about for a while. It's so funny because I've actually been setting up an off-grid um, cooking system since last year, and everybody who I spoke to about this started calling me Katniss and started like saying, "Oh, is the Hunger Games coming?" Yeah, the Hunger Games is coming. No, I'm kidding, but you should be prepared. Like, if you're in the UK, right, at least have some kind of basic off-grid methods to cook at least. You can get mini camping stoves, you can get the little wood stoves, um, to just help you get through the couple of days or months that we might have to bear with this BS. Yes, Pen Dizzy, WEFBS is what it is. I'm not gonna say what WEF stands for. I mean, if you know, you know. Um, um, Latonia, you got to be kidding me. They are really trying to weaken and destroy the UK. It seems like outside forces at work here. Yes. As our friend Pendizzy said, WEFBS. Um, I hope that Africans are not paying for these unroyal visits. Well, that's a good question. Who is paying for them? Benjamin, very bad timing on Claudia's part. She's clearly looking for clout. It's all about timing. Yeah, I think so. She knew what she was doing. So Claudia is mixed race as well. Okay. You're saying that Claudia is a bandwagoner. Well, I literally did not even know who she was before this, but I only bring her up because her sentiment is one that I have heard um, from a couple of people since, especially in the British media, since the Archetypes episode dropped yesterday. And I just felt that I wanted to dissect their points. Yes, cookies and cream, 5 minutes of fame, gonna backfire. Joseph, you can't start a career at the top. Sometimes you start out washing dishes and end up owning the restaurant. Exactly, Joseph. Exactly. Thank you for that wonderful comment. These people who only read headlines are capable of only having little thoughts, including those ebook the rag papers material. Yes. All right. Let me skim through your comments so we can get to the next part. Claudia, the difference between Megan and that woman are using that woman because your name is also Claudia. Is Megan is not afraid to stand up for another woman, even if she's the one being attacked. That woman is weak, selfish, and a narcissist social climber. Yes. Mimi, I think they want to silence Megan. A lot of them have problems with the money that she's making and jealousy. Yes, jealousy is kicking in big time. Sorry, I just had to sip my tea. Okay, so um yeah, this came up yesterday. Carole Middleton is launching the Party Pieces collection in the United States. Listen, I have no issue with anyone's hustle, but if your hustle is using your name when day after day you say that Meghan and Harry are riding on the coattails of their royal name, then you can't be out here using yours. Hypocrisy and double standards at its finest. Because if Carole Middleton, and she's using her Middleton name, her full like Carole Middleton, if she was to launch this as just party pieces, nobody would know what this is. She is launching this at ShopRite stores. She apparently met with customers. Don't see any customers there. But this marks a brand new retail partnership outside of the United Kingdom, beginning of a larger expansion plans in the United States. Party Pieces, from what I know, isn't even big here in the UK. So I don't know how well this is going to do in the US. Um, good luck, Carole. Good luck. Just wow. Does anybody know anything about the CEOs of this particular company, by the way? I'd be interested to know, are they political donors of any politicians in the US? Because I'd like to know how this deal got made or how it got negotiated. Because I can imagine it's quite difficult even for a US-based company to get into a big store like this. So an obscure company from the UK, yes, it's Kate Middleton's mum, but I don't even see Party Pieces in the stores in the UK. So how is she getting this floor space in the US? Jan, how can someone make a comment like that when they don't even take the time to actually listen to the full podcast, when they want clout and attention? Yes, Lauren, Megan breathes, and these people get upset. Rent-free Megan. Whitlin Harper, get the Labour Party in. The Conservatives are a whole mess. No parties for the UK needs. Um, Unpopular opinion to the ears of some Labour voters, and I say this as someone who is a lifelong Labour voter. They're going to come in and give it a year or two, and it's going to be the same mess. It's going to be the same mess because just remember that Keir Starmer was knighted by Charles. So just think about that. He's still establishment. What you need is people in the Labour Party who are not too close and tied to the establishment to be in power for Labour to actually make a change or do anything. So it's something to think about. Bertha, why do they think Meghan don't have the right to speak her mind? That was her experience on the show. I'm glad she feels empowered to speak and say what's on her mind. Meghan is her own person, yes. And she spoke about the whole matter with so much nuance and complexity than what the tabloids are actually reporting. Because really, at the core of this issue is the fact that there is such a limited number of opportunities that you kind of have to take what is there for you to get to where you want. And shouldn't we be creating more opportunities that are more wide ranging and don't just reduce women to simply being, suitcase girls who have to wear Spanx, right? Or else they're not allowed to go out onto the stage. Surely we can do and demand better. And I think that's what was at the core of the message. All right. Let's. All right. Let me read a couple more of the comments before I actually move on. Sheila James, looking for the big commercial deals they attack Harry and Meghan for. Exactly. Joyce. Everyone is watching Harry and Meghan. Sorry, the money Harry and Meghan are making, and they want to get in on the game. Remember, Harry and Meghan are financially independent. Yeah, and I think it kills them. I think it really kills them. Alma, ShopRite isn't a big store here in the US. Its locations definitely doesn't exist in higher end party supply stores. Okay, that's interesting intel. Thank you, Alma Andrews. All right. Right. We have gotten through all of the drama and the nonsense. So on to the joy that we get to enjoy today. Yes, the variety cover. I mean, just wow. Wasn't expecting it today at all. I'm hoping this means that we're going to get the late night show talk that we were owed as well very soon also. But here is the cover. Now, I have to say, when I first looked at the cover, I wasn't crazy about it. I thought that some of the other photos were a little bit more powerful. Um, it almost looks like they like they took the background and then they photoshopped her onto it. But now that I look at it now, it's not my favorite photo, the cover of the whole shoot. But there's something about it that's the style of it that's just very strong. Like you look at it, right? And the way that you get the effect in the background. I think that's called is it called bokeh or something like that in the background with her portrait. Um it is just a very powerful image to look at, and I love the Meghan the moment that they went with. And reading through this article, and I'm gonna read through it. It just had such a different tone than the Cut article. And reflecting on the Cut article now, I have to apologize to squaddies who called it out and were a lot more critical of the Cut article. Because I wish that I had listened to your criticism. Because when you compare it to the Variety, actually the Cut article now to me comes across as so much more shady, underhanded, catty, and jealous. You know, like even like the title, like Megan of Montecito. Like now that I kind of look back at it, I'm like, there was a little bit of shade there, but the Megan moment with this cover where she's smiling, and she doesn't look on the Cut cover. She looks very kind of like serious, and it was a beautiful cover, but I wonder if they picked that particular one because it had that very serious, stern look, whereas this one is a lot more softer, it's a lot more feminine, but still very strong. And there are also several other images that came out of the shoot, as you can see here. I love the one with the white and the pink. It looks very princessy. There's also one where she's in green, and this is a I can't actually see the designer's name, but I'll post all of these things in the community tab later. But I love this green one. It is very California girl, very regal. Some of these looks are hot off the runway. And there is also a video, a 4-minute 22 video about her cover and the whole feature, and it's just very light-hearted and fun to read. So just let me pull up the article and then we will read through it. Right. Give me a sec. And and here is, yes, there's the article, and I'm gonna read through it. Okay. Meghan Markle lets her guard down on grieving the Queen, producing with Harry and returning to Hollywood. by Matt Donnelly and photographs by Ramona Rosales. Okay. Um, oh, sorry, folks. Give me a sec. My computer is doing all sorts of nonsense right now. All right. The Duchess is in mourning, but we'll get back to that. First, let's go to the day we met this past summer at the venerated San Sidero Ranch in Montecito, California. The ranch is a low key, old luxury resort with simple bungalows tucked into a mountainside overlooking the Pacific coast. It's a kind of unpretentious but protected place wealthy locals and LA transplants come to be treated like royalty. On one withering hot day in late August, however, they got to mingle with the real thing. Now, I'm just going to stop there and go to this. This is from the Daily Fail. So, this interview and the pictures were not taken in Harry and Meghan's Montecito mansion. They were taken at a ranch somewhere else. And you've got this article literally with labels, with those silly red labels from the Daily Fail. Right, just give me a second, folks. I just have to close the door. The wind is making it bang. One sec. Okay, I do apologize, folks. Let's continue. Right, that morning, the Duchess of Sussex, known more commonly by her maiden name, Meghan Markle, sped past a group of 60 something women who'd made the trek to Montecito to celebrate a milestone birthday. Teetering on the dusty cobblestone walkway in their wedges and kitten heels, the group stopped dead as Meghan waved and smiled from a golf cart delivering her to her Variety cover shoot. Can you imagine? Said one of the women wistfully after the Duchess had passed. Perhaps talking about the life she has led so far. An American woman meeting and marrying a handsome young prince, beloved by all the world, or maybe, as we were there to discuss, the life she's leading now. Right. So let me just scroll down. Okay. It actually is hard to imagine. For most of her public life as the Duchess of Sussex, Meghan has been described as many things: disingenuous, calculating, determined, relatable, even Diana-like. But spend a day with her and you'll witness a side that the public hasn't seen: the nerdy American mum. Meghan talks about how she loves to watch Jeopardy and do Wordle in bed with a glass of wine. Oh, she also likes to do Duolingo. I think I had a tweet. Wait, one sec. Duolingo actually reposted. Where was it now? Oh yeah, there it is. Yes, right. And do Wordle in bed with a glass of wine. She raps her son's favorite song, a track about the Tyrannosaurus Rex from Ask the Storybots. Um, oh, yes, we do have a troll. Thank you so much to Lucy Wynn for catching the troll. And talks enthusiastically about Beyonce, specifically how Cozy is her favorite song from the album. And what about all the photos you've seen of her with that guarded smile? At the shoot, she couldn't have been more at ease as she shook the hand of every crew member, stylist, and personal assistant. She shrugged off the pop singers of contemporary radio in favor of her own 1970s road trip playlist. She addressed questions about the past few years head on. She burst out laughing at the drop of a hat, almost like a princess in a Hollywood movie. When asked about what she wants out of life, she said, joy. That's really it. It's, it's everything that we can work towards for ourselves, our friends, our kids, those around us. That would feel so good. And we do feel joyful. I love that. And you can see it in the pictures. You can see that joy, that despite everything, they have still found joy. That's lovely. Thank you so much for the trolls for watching, by the way. We appreciate you. Meghan has been set to be honored in Meghan was set to be honored in the 2022 class of Variety's Power of Women, celebrating notable achievements in entertainment and media by women throughout the year. She was to be feted for both philanthropic and creative work, including the podcast called Archetypes, of which she is the host, rooted through Archewell, the company she shares with her husband, Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex. Nearly 3 weeks before press time, though, 8 days after she stopped the birthday revelers in their tracks at the ranch, the prince's grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II, died at her Scottish estate, Balmoral. The world watched and mourned as the longest reigning monarch in British history was laid to rest and celebrated for what Meghan says was a shining example of female leadership. Following the official period of mourning, Meghan agrees to sit again for a lengthy discussion about her road to the present. She worries that any comments about the Queen or her in-laws will be a distraction from continued mourning, but presses on to celebrate the icon. She grows animated talking about the warmth and support she received. Sorry, give me a sec. Oh yeah, the warmth and support she received from the thousands of citizens she interacted with during her time in the UK. Not to mention the two significant content deals she and Prince Harry struck with streaming giants Netflix and Spotify. The two young children, Archie Harrison 3 and Lilibet Diana 1, at the centre of the Sussex household. The singular mission behind Archewell and how she has fought to build the life and company of her dreams. So, I'll just go through some of your comments before we get on to the question round of this article, because now it goes on to the questions. Welcome everyone if you're joining us. Slightly earlier podcast today because Anne has to go to judo. Cho DeCisi, the Cut magazine was fodder for the UK journalists. Every paragraph was shade. Claudia had encounter with men as well, refused to detail the incident in her show. Well, if she did have an incident, then it's really sad that she would attack Meghan. Whitlin, Meghan didn't say anything negative about Mandel. Yeah, she didn't. She literally didn't. Archetypes is held in a discussion format. It's a platform where Meghan invites guests to share their authentic selves, and Meghan does the same. Exactly. And that's exactly what we need right now. A lot of you are saying that you love the blue dress. I like my flowers, so definitely the pink and white for me. Thank you so much, Alan Vernon, for the super sticker. Much appreciated. Oh, okay, let's go on to the question round now of the interview. So, the Queen has been mourning the world has been mourning the loss of Queen Elizabeth. How has this time been? And Meghan responds by saying, there's been such an outpouring of love and support. I'm really grateful that I was able to be with my husband to support him, especially during that time. What's so beautiful is to look at the legacy that his grandmother was able to leave on so many fronts. Certainly, in terms of female leadership, she is the most shining example of what that looks like. I feel deep gratitude to have been able to spend time with her and to get to know her. It's been a complicated time, but my husband, ever the optimist, said now she's reunited with her husband. Now, obviously, I'm going to disagree with anything about the Queen being a female leader or leading any type of legacy, for reasons obvious. However, I find it interesting that ever since Harry and Meghan left the firm, there has been this narrative about the poor queen and disrespecting the queen, and this is going to make the queen feel sad. One more time for the people in the back. Meghan has never said anything negative about the queen. Neither has Harry. And at the end of the day, there's how we as Republicans and anti-monarchists view this institution and Lizzie, but this is the family that Meghan has married into. So I actually wouldn't expect her to say anything less than what she said. But the press continue to try and spin a narrative that she has been disrespectful to the Queen. She never has. She's never said anything but nice things. And it's not like there aren't a whole bunch of nasty things that could be said, but we don't really know the relationship that Meghan and Harry had with Lizzie other than what they have told us. So, I'm always gonna, and I think many of us will always wonder, why didn't she do anything about the targeted harassment that Harry and Meghan have gone through? Could she do anything? But only Harry and Meghan know the answer to that question, and I can only go by what they have said publicly. Right, next question. Has anything come up for you in your relationship with the Queen since her passing? Meghan said, I reflected on that first engagement that I had with her, how special it felt. I feel fortunate. And I continue to be proud to have a nice warmth with the matriarch of the family. The next question is, have you processed this loss as a family? She then responds by saying, in big moments in life, you get a lot of perspective. It makes you wonder what you want to focus your energy on. Right now, I feel energized and excited about all of the things we've been building towards. We've also focused on our foundation. So much of the work we do includes the philanthropic space. Next question. You've done 2 major interviews since returning to America. One with Oprah Winfrey and the other with New York Magazine, The Cut, which some found to be a bit snarky. What has it been like to open up about your life? Right, let me just put that on the screen because I have that so you can actually read it as I'm reading it. Meghan says, very graciously, the New York story was intended to support Archetypes and focus on our projects. I've had some time to reflect on it. Part of me is just really trusting, really open. That's how I move in the world. I have to remember that I don't ever want to become so jaded that a piece of me goes away. So despite any of those things, onward, I can survive it. What a brilliant response. Y'all, Meghan is a nicer person than me. Because the way I would just cuss that journalist out, I have no patience or time for it. So yeah, she's acknowledging that, yeah, there was definitely something about that whole piece that was very snarky, but in a very classy way. And actually, I think it just makes the journalist look bad because she actually invited that journalist to Archie's school. She invited her to ride with them in the car. She invited her into her home. Invited her right in. And she still chose to write this article and frame Meghan in a very snarky, underhanded, catty way. Anyway, Meghan goes on to say, part of what I'm doing with Archetypes is looking at the nuances around the women who've come on the show. I'm not a journalist, but I want a candid, real conversation with them. I'm talking to some really textured, colorful, layered, dynamic women with strong histories. And that comes with a lot of pieces you can choose to include or not. I choose to include something that I feel is fair to them and also uplifting, and something we can all learn from. Amazing. Mm, just okay. Next question. What were the days like after the Oprah interview aired on TV before an audience of 18 million people? Meghan says, even before the interview, I hadn't been out because I was so pregnant. The one thing I really remember was Gloria Steinem's birthday a few days after it aired. I really wanted to celebrate her at what I thought was just going to be a small but an intimate birthday lunch. I envisioned it being us eating sandwiches in this cottage she was staying at. Instead, it was an extravaganza, by the way, as she deserves. But I hadn't really seen people in a long time, and the interview had come out maybe a week before. Walking into a room alone is never easy for me, and I remember feeling a bit uncomfortable. But before I could let my uncertainty linger, Pamela Adlon came up to me and greeted me with such warmth and kindness. She toured me around the room, and at every turn, more generosity and love was felt. Maybe it's just a testament to the kind of company Glow keeps. I love that she calls her Glow. But I also think these women are extraordinary to ensure I felt so welcomed. It was like they knew exactly what I needed to feel in that moment. It meant and still means so much to me. The power of sisterhood and female support can never be underestimated. As usual, because there are no leaks in Montecito or on that side of the pond, this is the first time that we're hearing that Meghan went to Gloria Steinem's birthday, or that Gloria Steinem even had that big extravaganza, and that Meghan was there pregnant. And this is what privacy looks like. Being able to meet with your sisters silently at a birthday party without everyone surrounding like vultures. Right, next question. Now this is the part that got me. The interviewer asked, "What can we expect from Liz Garbus's documentary series on you and your husband?" And Meghan said, "It's nice to be able to trust someone with our story, a seasoned director whose work I've long admired, even if it means it may not be the way we would have told it. But that's not why we're telling it. We're trusting our story to someone else, and that means it goes through their lens. It's interesting. My husband has never worked in this industry before. For me, having worked on Suits, it's so amazing to be around so much creative energy and to see how people work together and share their points of view. That's been really fun." So, confirming that there is indeed some kind of show surrounding Harry and Meghan and their story, or how Meghan puts it, I'm able to trust someone with our story. So there is some kind of show, but all this time they've been trying to paint it as some kind of, trashy reality TV type of show. And like I've said before on this podcast, if Harry and Meghan were ever going to have a behind the scenes show, it would be nothing like that. And to suggest so is just tabloid fodder. So looking forward to that. Um, Now, having said that, on yesterday's podcast, there was I did read out a statement from Netflix, um, saying, I mean, they had denied that there was they had denied that there was a docuseries and that it was only like Invictus or something. So does that mean that this series, is it going to be on Netflix or is it going to be on something else? I don't know, because Megan doesn't actually mention Netflix here. She just says a docuseries. She doesn't say what platform it's going to be on. So I guess we'll have to wait and see. For the next question, we're in the midst of a successful first season of Archetypes. The show breaks down harmful labels put on women. What are the biggest misconceptions about you? Megan responds, "I think that's what happens looking in from the outside. When there is this much noise, is that you become dehumanized. But if you remember that someone is a human being, then you don't treat them, talk about them, look at them the same way. My hope for Archetypes is that people will come out thinking, oh, she's a real person. She laughs and questions and approaches things with curiosity." Okay, so she then goes. Gosh, guys, I am going over time. She then goes on to talk about the episode of Paris Hilton and how she's sorry that she judged her. So I'm just going to skip over that and you can go read that. It's pretty much a similar thing to what was said on Archetypes yesterday. Um, then the next question is, how does Hollywood as a concept and as a business, so what does Hollywood as a concept and as a business mean to you? To which Meghan responds, the industry has shifted quite a bit since I was part of it. And then the next question is, how long has it been? Meghan says, I left Suits right after the 100th episode in 2018. I didn't think I'd ever be in the entertainment industry again. Um, okay, and then I'll skip a few questions, and then it goes on to, before you left the industry, how palpable was the toxic nature that we collectively uncovered in movements like Me Too and Oscar So White? Uh, we didn't have a name for it at that time, Meghan says. There were just certain things that were accepted. If there was any discomfort, you just dealt with it. It forced a lot of women to live with this idea of staying silent, not being disruptive, not giving voice to things that might create concern or comfort. For me, I had tried for so long to land a show, and I was convinced that I was going to get recast all the time. It got to the point where the creator was like, "Why are you so worried about this?" Then she's then asked, big question, would you ever consider going back to acting? To which Meghan responds, no, I'm done. I guess never say never, but my intention is absolutely not. Right. She's then asked, going through the process you did with the monarchy and then becoming a private citizen again, are those institutions similar? She then goes, every business had a model. Because we know that's what the monarchy is. It's a business. I worked for the NBC Universal and then USA Network, and that was all part of a very large organization. Okay, I'm gonna skip a little bit, and then she then goes on to talk about Archewell, and Invictus Games. She praises Julia Roberts' rom-coms. Then she's asked anything you don't want on your slate. She says, I don't think you'll ever see us doing a horror film. Okay, that's fine, Megs. And then she's asked, how would she feel if Archie or Lily came to her and said that they want to be in the entertainment industry? And Meghan said that would be great. That she genuinely wants to see her kids do what gives her joy. And she also says they're our kids, obviously, and they're part of a legacy and a tradition and a family that will have other expectations. But I want them to be able to carve out their own path. Fantastic. Something the Cam kids will not be able to do. Okay, and then she's asked, it's odd as an actor to know that others actors will probably play you in the future. Is that odd? She says, I haven't given it much thought, to be honest. It's all weird. You have to compartmentalize. Anyone talking about me or casting an actor to play me, that will be a caricature of me that has been created for a business that makes people a lot of money. Once you can separate it out of that, it's much easier to go, okay, that actually has nothing to do with me. It generally doesn't. It's a hard lesson to come to grips with. Thank you so much, Pele Prescott, for the super sticker. Much appreciated. And then she's asked, what's one piece of advice you'd give an actor 100 years from now who is cast as Meghan? She responds, I hope that in preparing for the role, she finds the softness and playfulness and the laughter, the silliness. I just hope she finds the dimensions. Also, she can call me. Okay, so she then talks about how she went to her high school. And then she's asked, how important is it for you to be understood by other people? She said, that's a great question. No one has ever asked me that. I can only speak for myself, but I think feeling understood and seen are really important. That has been a common denominator that has come up in Archetypes and the work I do with communities of women. People just want to be seen. And that's where representation comes into play. Then she talks about the average workday for her and Harry, that they share an office, they work from home, they do Zoom calls. Um, and then the interviewer asks who takes the most snack breaks. And then she says that Harry's favorite place is in and out. That there's one that sorry, there's one at the halfway point between LA and our neck of the woods. So you know that the British tabloid rats are gonna have someone staked out at that in and out. Christ. Okay, and that is pretty much the end of the article. So there it is. Um, what a lovely interview. Very different from the cuts. And the link is in the community tab for anyone that wants to um read it for yourselves. I'm literally just going to spend 5 minutes taking some of your comments because you've left quite a few. And then I'm going to race out of the door. But thank you all so much for coming and listening today, as always, and everyone for your donations, and the mods have done an amazing job because the trolls are definitely in the chat today. Because she has never said anything bad or nasty things that she knows about the Queen. I listen above the noise, just like Maria Shiva said. Yes, and it's an interesting point that a lot of people have brought up about how should we view Meghan in relation to this institution that she's married into. And my answer to that, to people, that say, well, how can she then call herself a feminist? How can she then call herself a, advocate for equality and all the rest of it? Meghan did not start the British Empire. She's not responsible for all of its atrocities. She met a man, fell in love, and got married. So I think it's very unfair to expect that she's going to, be some raving voice against Betty and the institution. I think it's very unfair because people are putting that expectation on her that they have not put on the other members of this family. And why should it be the only woman of color in this family to have that conversation, right? And even when, like Harry, for example, said in that Commonwealth meeting with the kids, we need to have the difficult conversations. Even when he made that statement, he was still attacked for it. So yeah, that's for, because that's something that I get asked, quite a lot. How do you weigh Meghan being in this institution with what this institution represents? And that's my response to that question. Denise, maybe black people in Britain should listen to your podcast, but they don't. No, there's a lot of black Brits here. There's a lot here. And the popular kids in school weren't necessarily the nicest, but everyone still wanted to be around them. So, if people want to be sheep and just follow, that's up to them really. But you won't ever see me in a picture like that. Yes, motivation. The firm equals a business model. That was a very interesting way, the way she skirted around that question. Anna, yes, in and out. I love the fries. Okay, good to know you love the fries. Do you know, I love that every time we get one of these interviews, we hear things that they've been doing that have just not leaked, and this is everything that the tabloids would love to know about, and they don't have access. Sylvia, Duchess of Success, you are right. Meghan is married to Harry, not the institution. So if anybody want to talk about the institution, then let them talk about it. Exactly that. Thank you, Sylvia. Lydia, and you really smash it on the podcast. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you all for your support. Uh, Rita, it is not Meghan's duty to explain the royal family. Yeah, exactly. It's not her duty to explain a 1,200-year-old institution that pillaged the whole planet. That's Meghan's duty. I mean, honestly, the nerve of some people, Rita, right? She went in, they chased her out. Everyone knows, and she loves her husband and respects the Queen. So it's not um obligatory at all. No. Yes, Rachel, Meghan and Harry should not be held guilty of stuff they had no decision in. Valerie, being a feminist is about choices, people. It is so that women and people that support women have choices to live their lives in any way they want without obstacles. Amen to that, Valerie. Um, Bling, I can't eat an In-N-Out burger. His ours isn't good, but I don't eat a lot of beef. Okay. Thanks for letting me know. I will avoid In-N-Out burger when I go. Um, Mina, I love this interview. It was very much appreciated, and seeing how Variety sees Meghan for the woman she is and did not try to paint her as a clout chaser. Yes. I mean, in comparison to the cut, like, wow, what a difference, right? What a difference. All right, with that, I must call it a day. Thank you all so much, as always, for coming. I'm gonna go get my ass beat and bruised. You are all amazing. And yes, make sure you go watch the variety video, comment on that, please. And I will see you all tomorrow. Don't forget that Fridays is call-in day, and I also have a special show and a special announcement coming on the 28th. We're going to be having a special show on that day with a guest, and moving up to the next phase, I feel, of Duchess of Success. So have a wonderful day, everyone. Go read the article, and I will see you tomorrow. Ciao.
Everybody's saying that I lost my mind, but I ain't never ever given up this time. 'Cause everybody knows that I've been on the grind, but I ain't never ever given up this time. Up this time. Up this time. Up, 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 up. I've never ever given up this time.